Good morning, gang. It's Gord, your hurting hippie, and we're making chili. It's early Saturday morning. If you're ever going to try this recipe, you gotta get up with the birds. And you gotta start with a lot of meat.
That's what she said.
We have 3 pounds of burger here, maybe close to 4. A pound of bacon, smokehouse bacon, and 3 nice big steaks. And the most important thing, we start with the red kidney beans. I've got 4 cans of them, and I'm kind of thinking I don't have enough, but you start with something. I don't just use red kidney beans, I also use baked beans. I put them in later. These take much longer to soften up. Baked beans already are. If you put them in now, they're going to end up just mush, just being part of the sauce. Not bad, but I prefer having some beans, you know? So it's a 10-hour cook. You have to do things in a certain order. So let's start with 3 pounds of beef, ground beef. Maybe a pound of steak, a pound of bacon. That's your meat. Then 4 or 5 cans of big cans of red kidney beans and one of those really big cans of baked beans. Let me think. I've got most of it out here. You want a bunch of stewed tomatoes or diced tomatoes. You want some tomato sauce. Just helps thicken it up and add a really robust flavor. The beginning of the day, you're putting in your steak, your burger, and your kidney beans, and your first shot at jalapenos. You're going to also need 3 or 4 onions, a bunch of celery. You're going to need a whole bunch of garlic, oh yeah. And remember, I do all my cooking off the tip of my head, but you're going to see it all. And I will, in description, try to show a recipe. Just remember, I don't follow a recipe. I just use my head. I know what flavors work. I've made this many times, and I never did have a recipe. So, pitter patter, let's get at her. Let's put it in the oven and start that. The next will be a montage. Remember, put your kidney beans in, I'll show you. I have a big pot ready, but I don't have enough oven space, stove space. So it's going to be put the kidney beans in first and then start frying the steak. Yes, pre-fry it. It doesn't add a crispiness to the outside because it's going to sit in those kidney beans so long it's just going to soften up. But frying the outside of the steak caramelizes, breaks down some of the sugars in the tissue, and creates a flavor profile that you won't have in your chili if you don't fry the steak first. And you want to heat up those kidney beans because nobody wants their meat put into cold beans.
That's what she said.
I'm trying, folks. Stay tuned with the montage of the morning routine of this. Veggies and all that don't go in till later in the day, and you want to fry them first again. Create flavor. It's all about the flavor profiles. Bring as much flavor in there as possible. So, we will be back. cooking down that bacon, and I'm going to drain it. I don't want the grease in the chili. I'll probably save the grease. I like bacon grease. And then I'm going to switch frying pans because the cast iron is just too heavy to cook hamburger in, because you got to drain hamburger too. And that becomes difficult. So you'll see a different frying pan, but different utensils for different things still means the same thing. This bacon is almost ready. I'm putting it in with the kidney beans, and I put tomatoes in there. I missed recording that, but I put some of the tomatoes in there. Start that bit of the acid of the tomatoes to start breaking down the meat. And I'm going to add the bacon, and then I'm going to cook the hamburger. That's going to take quite a while. I'll give you little shots of it, and we'll be back in a bit. As you've seen, I cut up the jalapenos. I had 3 jalapenos. I've thrown them in there now. I can get jalapenos at the local market a block away, so I do think I need more, but I didn't want to overdo it when I was buying them, and I didn't like what I got at Co-op that time. I am finishing off the last of the hamburger, and I'm kind of done. Been working for an hour and a half now. And I've got the kidney beans in there. I've got some spices. I put some chilies. I put the jalapenos in there. I put the steak in there. I put the bacon in there. I've got half the ground beef in there, and the other half is going in right now. And then I'm going to stir it up and put a lid on it and let it just steep for quite a while before I even taste it. I don't feel it's worthwhile testing too early your taste, because the chilies, the spices, the salts haven't absorbed through everything yet. So depending on where you taste, you might go, oh, it needs salt, when it doesn't really. Don't taste until halfway through the day. You can always adjust, and don't add too much. You can always add more. You can't add less. So we'll be back in a few hours for me, and in a blink of an eye for you, and we'll get busy at the step 2, doing all the veggies and getting them in there. Peace. It's been fun. A couple of hours have passed. I have gone to the store, got a bit more red kidney beans because I wanted to have enough. I always think I don't have enough. Put the hat on because the hair was getting in the way. I got nothing to tie it up. Can't find my hair ties. You don't want hair in your chili. You want almost everything else, but who wants the hair in there? I am about to do the veggies, but I do them in parts. I want to get the onions and the garlic and the celery in there now. I'm not going to do the green and red peppers. I've already got the jalapenos in there and the chilies in there. Sorry, I didn't show you me cutting them up. But I want the celery has a really wonderful salt within it when it cooks down. And it's very fibrous, really good for the chili. The onions and the garlic, we all know the kind of flavors that come from them. So I want them in early so they soak in and become part of the sauce. The green and red and orange peppers, bell peppers, I love that in chili. But I want to have a little meatiness to that. I'm going to put that in the last couple of hours. Darn dog. I'm going to put those in the last couple of hours so that they have some unique flavor of their own and don't just become mush in there. So you can do the same with kidney beans. You can do the same with your baked beans. Save some of it for later and put it in near the end, the stuff that's already cooked, and it'll add texture. You won't have just the last thing you want is everything first thing in the morning and then 10 hours cooked, because believe me, you're just going to get mush. So stay tuned. I'm cutting up the onions, cutting up the garlic, throwing it in there, and then we got a couple more hours of cook. Peace. Almost dropped that sucker, didn't I? That was hard on the wrist. That's a heavy cast iron frying pan. But I sweated out those onions and the garlic and all that to bring out more flavor. Added a bit of salt to it and garlic salt, and really let it kind of steam and sweat. Not caramelize. I wasn't going for caramelize because that's going to turn it into mush. Now it's added in there. Now we're going to cover it a couple of hours, and I'll be adding the baked beans and the green and red peppers, the bell peppers, the sweeter peppers. Right now it's got a real kick to it. It's got a real strength to it. I've tasted it. It's been a few hours, and it's really starting to develop its flavors, but it needs more time. I'll be back. How you doing?
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, I thought I'd share a little piece of what happens when you're cooking something huge is you realize you just have to get more. I forgot to get bread for the, you gotta have some kind of bread or buns, hot buns or buns with butter, something to go with the chili. And I need more more jalapenos, and I thought I'd show you. It's snowing in Calgary today. It's cold out. It's 0 degrees and it's snowing pretty good. Be right back.
Hey, how you doing?
Here we are near the end. Near the end. Near the end of the things I have to do to cook it. As I said, I like to add some of the vegetables later in the afternoon, and we're past lunch now, so that those flavors are more distinct, and there's a little bit of crunchiness left to those veggies that go in there, because now all it's doing is simmering and getting rid of the moisture and all mixing together. So I've got some nice yellow peppers, I've got a red pepper, red bell, and a green bell, and I've got 2 more zucchini.
You just blew my mind.
2 more jalapenos. I can't believe I lost that. 2 more jalapenos. I am now ready. There's quite a spice to it, but I think with adding this more sweet stuff, I need a little bit more kick. I may only add 1 of those jalapenos, but you've seen me cut stuff up enough. No more montage, no more nothing. Just now I'm going to do the rest. I'm going to put this video together, but stay tuned because there will be at the end all of us tasting it. So this isn't over, but the music is. Peace. We interrupt this regularly scheduled cooking class to bring you a weather report from Calgary, Alberta, Canada. And as you can see, it sucks. Back to you, Gord. And here we are, the final tasting. And I'll just have Pasha hold this for a minute. Exactly like that. And I'm going to have my first taste of this. I had the fork ready, but hang on. What, the fork? Here. Has a really, really nice chili. We put cheese over the top of it. And serving it with some multi-grain tortillas, some pita pockets, and let's find out what the boys, the men, think of their first. Here's Pasha.
Oh, it's good.
It's good?
Yeah.
Dangerously cheesy.
Well, I think we got a hit, and I'm just hungry. I'm just hungry, friends. So thank you for being along with the ride and learning how to make my kind of chili. It did get a little runny for a bit, so I strained off some of the sauce through a strainer, and I can freeze it up, and that'll be great with sausages or great with spaghetti. So I've got that, and I've probably got 6 or 7 meals that I can freeze up. So this was well worth the time spent and the money spent. And it's always worth the time with you guys. Peace and cheers.
Love and harmony.
There. Got them all. Okay. Cheers.